Wife of 12 years decided to throw it all out of the window for a new joinee at her work because he made her feel young and free again, unlike me, so I filed for a divorce, but now karma is hitting her like a truck for it all because now this guy is making allegations against her for settlement money and the entire company wants her to step down from her position, so she's reaching out to me to come and testify to prove her character. I laughed in her face and told her that she can now enjoy being free. In the prison. Hi. Throwaway because honestly, I don't want this tied to my main account. Let me know if I'm the jerk here because part of me wonders if I was too harsh, but at the same time, well, let me just get into it. So my ex-wife, Melissa, 40 female, and I, 38 male, were married for 12 years. At one point, I thought we had a pretty solid relationship. We met young, built our careers, and supported each other through all the ups and downs of adult life. Things were stable, or at least I thought they were. Looking back, maybe stable was part of the problem for her. Around year 10, I started noticing Melissa pulling away. She became distant. She was always glued to her phone and was generally less engaged at home. When I brought it up, she'd brush it off saying work was just hectic. I wanted to believe her because, hey, we all have rough patches, but it turns out the hectic work was less about spreadsheets and more about Shane, 23 male, a new hire at her job. Shane was the kind of person who walked into a room and made sure everyone noticed him. He was outgoing, flashy, and confident, and apparently, he made Melissa feel young and free again, or at least that's what she told me when she finally admitted to the affair. She said our life together had gotten too routine and that she was done feeling old. She wanted a divorce so she could pursue this connection with Shane. She said he made her feel alive again. I felt like I'd been punched in the stomach. At first, I was devastated. I thought maybe I could fight for our marriage, but when I saw how smug she was about it, I realized I wasn't mourning her. I was mourning the life I thought we had. So I filed for divorce, I got a decent settlement, packed up my stuff, and moved into a smaller place across town. It wasn't easy, but I was determined to start over. The divorce was a long, messy process, but when it was finalized, I felt like I could finally breathe again. For the record, the divorce wasn't messy because I refused to let it be. I just wanted to move on, even though it was hard at first. I had to let go of the woman I thought I knew. I leaned on friends and family, picked up some new hobbies, and threw myself into my work. Slowly but surely, I found my footing. Fast forward about 6 months after the divorce was finalized, and I started hearing bits and pieces about Melissa and Shane through mutual acquaintances. I wasn't seeking out info, but when you have a few common friends, you end up hearing things. At first, it seemed like Melissa was living her dream life with Shane. Fancy vacations, a new car, and constant social media posts about how in love they were. Whatever. Good for her. But then the tone shifted. A friend mentioned at a get-together that Shane had filed some kind of formal complaint at work. Apparently, he accused Melissa of being manipulative and pressuring him into the relationship. He also claimed she was using company funds for personal expenses like the gifts and trips she'd showered him with. I'll admit it, I laughed, not because I think harassment or manipulation is funny, of course not, but the sheer irony of it all. That was something else. Here was Melissa, who had thrown away our marriage because I wasn't fun enough, now dealing with a mess of her own making. But hearing all that also made me feel something. On the one hand, I wasn't exactly shocked. Melissa was always pretty smooth at work, and I could see how she might cross professional lines when it came to impressing Shane. On the other hand, I had to remind myself to stay out of it. Her choices weren't my responsibility anymore. But the gossip didn't stop there. It turns out the company wasn't taking the allegations lightly. HR was involved, and there was talk that Melissa might be asked to step down. She'd always been this golden girl at work, top performer, big promotions, the works. For someone who built her entire identity around her career, I imagine that must have been a huge blow. And honestly, I felt kind of vindicated, like finally, she had to face some consequences for abandoning our marriage. Then, out of nowhere, Melissa reached out to me 3 days ago. She called, texted, and even sent a long email all asking for the same thing. She wanted me to testify as a character witness. She said my support would prove she wasn't the kind of person Shane was accusing her of being. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. This request made me laugh. The audacity. Here's a woman who broke our marriage because I wasn't exciting enough. She threw me away for someone shiny and new, and now she wanted me to vouch for her? Absolutely not. I told her she made her bed and could lie in it. She then tried to guilt-trip me by saying that I was the only one who could help her. She painted Shane as a liar and a gold digger and swore the allegations were all false. But you know what? That wasn't my problem. I laughed and hung up. I know some people might think I should have helped her out for the sake of our past, but here's the thing. Melissa destroyed that trust. She showed me exactly where I stood in her life when she left me for Shane. My loyalty doesn't extend to cleaning up her messes. Not to mention, I spent years being the supportive husband. I held her down when she was struggling, only to have her throw me away when things got better for her. She didn't care about me when she was chasing her young and free fantasy. Why should I care about her now that it's all blowing up in her face? I don't think Shane's some innocent angel in all this. He knew she was married when they started their relationship. But if he's holding her accountable for things she actually did, that's not my problem. Melissa made her choices. She chose to betray me, and now karma's holding her accountable. I told her as much before. I blocked her number. I'm not proud of laughing in her face, but it felt cathartic in the moment. After everything she put me through, it felt good to stand up for myself and say no without feeling guilty. Now I'm sitting back and watching karma do its thing. Word is the allegations might lead to legal trouble for Melissa. If that's true, then all I can say is, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. I guess Melissa can finally enjoy that freedom she wanted so badly, even if it's behind bars. Then again, I'm writing here for a reason. Like I mentioned, it's been 3 days, and I'm starting to feel a little bad about how I handled the whole situation. So am I the jerk for refusing to help my ex when she's clearly struggling? Part of me wonders if I should have taken the high road, but, honestly, I think I'm done sacrificing my peace for someone who wouldn't do the same for me. Update 1. Hi again. I didn't think I'd be back with an update, but here we are. It's been about a month since my original post, and let's just say things have escalated for my ex-wife, Melissa. I've gotten a lot of support from you all. Thank you, seriously. And reading your responses helped me stand firm when Melissa came crawling back again. So after my last post, I didn't think much about Melissa's situation. I've been focusing on my own life and, honestly, the little updates I got through mutual friends were more like background noise. But then the background noise turned into something much bigger. Apparently, Melissa's company placed her on indefinite suspension. She's no longer allowed to go into the office while they investigate Shane's complaints. HR is taking everything seriously, especially because Shane's allegations involve potential misuse of company funds. And from what I've heard, there's evidence that Melissa used the company card to buy gifts and pay for trips with Shane. But that's not even the worst part. Shane has now gone to the police with a formal complaint. He's accusing Melissa of coercing him into their relationship and creating a toxic environment at work. According to mutual friends, Shane claims that Melissa abused her position of power to manipulate him, which then made it hard for him to say no to her advances. To be clear, I don't know if all of his claims are true. I wasn't there, and I've got no interest in playing detective. But what I do know is that Melissa put herself in this position. She chose to mix business with pleasure, and now it's biting her in the worst way possible. Anyway, back to how I got involved again against my will. A few days after I heard about the police complaint, Melissa reached out to me, and this time she didn't just want me to be a character witness for her job. She wanted me to back her up for the potential criminal charges that Shane is pushing. The nerve of this woman is truly something else. She went on and on about how I'm the only person who can help her out. She said I could testify that she's not the abusive type and that she's always been a good wife. The irony, right? The same woman who threw me away for another man now wants me to save her skin. I know some people might think I'm being petty, but trust me, I'm not. I gave that woman 12 years of my life. I was loyal and supportive and tried my best to build a good life with her. She didn't just cheat on me, she disrespected me in the most public way possible and abandoned our marriage for someone shiny and new. And now that her world is crumbling, I'm supposed to swoop in and play hero? Absolutely not. So I told her no again, and this time I made it clear there's no point in asking me ever again. She doesn't deserve my help, and honestly, I don't owe her anything. If I supported her, I'd be lying not just to the courts but to myself. Melissa wasn't a good wife in the end, and I refused to pretend otherwise. She tried to guilt-trip me, of course. She said she's scared of what could happen if this goes to trial. She swore Shane was lying to make himself look better and to secure a financial settlement. But here's the thing, none of that matters to me anymore. Whether she's innocent or guilty isn't my business. What matters is that she burned her bridge with me the moment she chose Shane over our marriage. I stuck to my decision, and I don't feel bad about it. If anything, I feel relieved. For the first time in years, I'm fully putting myself first. That said, this whole situation has been a real eye-opener. Mutual friends have told me that Melissa's family is starting to distance themselves from her. Her parents, who were always so proud of her career, are now disappointed and don't know what to believe. Some coworkers who used to idolize her are keeping their distance too. It's like her entire world is falling apart. To be honest, I think this is karma doing its thing. Melissa built her life on appearances, being the perfect employee, the perfect wife, the perfect everything. But in reality, she was selfish and impulsive, and now the cracks are showing. As for Shane, I have no idea what his end game is. Maybe he really did feel pressured into the relationship. Maybe he's exaggerating to protect himself. Either way, I'm staying out of it. I've got no reason to get involved in their drama, and frankly, I'm too busy living my life to care about theirs. I'll admit part of me finds this whole situation darkly amusing, not because I wish harm on Melissa, despite everything, I don't, but because it's proof that actions have consequences. She made her choices, and now she's facing the fallout. So that's where things stand. Melissa's career is in limbo, she's facing serious allegations, and she's lost the support of some of the people closest to her. Meanwhile, I'm doing fine. Life isn't perfect, but it's mine, and I'm finally free of her mess. Thanks for reading. If there's more to share down the line, I'll keep you posted. For now, I'm just happy to be done with this chapter of my life. Update 2. Hey again. I honestly didn't think I'd have more to say about this mess, but here I am with another update. It's been about 2 months since my last post, and let me tell you, things have only gotten worse for Melissa. But first, I'd like to address a few questions that I've seen pop up a lot. 1. Did Shane know she was married when they started their relationship? Yes, he absolutely knew. We weren't exactly secretive about being married. Melissa wore her wedding ring, and our life was all over social media. I don't think Shane cared. He's young and probably thought he was special or that their relationship was somehow different. Honestly, they both made their choices, and now they're both paying for it in their own ways. Some people also ask me if I felt sorry for him now, and no, I don't feel sorry for him. He knew Melissa was married and didn't care. I get that people make mistakes, but he chose to wreck my marriage, and now he's learning that Melissa isn't the princess he thought she was. Do I think he's lying about the accusations? Honestly, I have no clue. He could be telling the truth, or he could be exaggerating to save himself. Either way, I'm not getting involved. 2. How did you find out about the HR complaint and the rumors? I don't work with Melissa or anyone at her company, but we still have some mutual friends. A couple of them are coworkers of hers, and they've been sharing updates. I didn't ask for this info, but people love gossip, and since I'm her ex, I guess they thought I'd want to know. To be fair, they're not wrong. It's been fascinating to watch from the sidelines. I'm also really glad that they reached out to me because, trust me, if Melissa approached me and told me all of this herself, I wouldn't know what to do. They essentially gave me a heads up, and that allowed me to prepare myself for all of Melissa's audacity. 3. Why didn't you block Melissa when she first called you? Honestly? Morbid curiosity. After everything she put me through, I wanted to know what she'd say. When she started pleading for my help, it felt like the ultimate proof of how far she'd fallen. It was weirdly satisfying to say no. After that, I blocked her. She hasn't tried to reach me since, thank God. A lot of you were also curious about how Melissa could even think that I'd help her now. Good question, I'm still wondering that myself. She said that I'd be the perfect character witness because we had been married for so long. Apparently, if I said she was a good wife, it would help counter Shane's claims about her behavior. It's wild because, hello, she wasn't a good wife. She lied, cheated, and left me. Did she think I'd forget all that? Anyway, on to the update now. After her suspension, the company's investigation dug up solid evidence against her. Mutual friends told me they found emails, receipts, and even travel records that prove she used company funds to buy Shane luxury gifts and pay for trips. We're talking designer handbags, fancy dinners, and even a weekend getaway to some 5-star resort. Apparently, she didn't even try to hide it. She used the company card and then signed off on the expenses herself. The audacity. Of course, once this came to light, the company had no choice but to officially terminate her. From what I've heard, HR didn't even wait for the investigation to wrap up completely. They gave her the boot and made it clear that they'd be cooperating fully with the authorities. As if that wasn't bad enough, Shane's case is still moving forward. He's filed a civil suit against Melissa where he's accused her of coercion and harassment. The police are pursuing criminal charges related to her misuse of company funds as well. And that's not all. Other male employees have come forward with their own complaints. According to a mutual friend, at least 2 men have accused Melissa of creating a hostile work environment and have cited inappropriate comments and behavior. Melissa's reputation is completely in ruins. This is a woman who used to be the golden girl at her company, the one everyone looked up to, and now she's not just jobless but she's also being dragged through both civil and criminal courts. And where's Shane in all this? From what I've gathered, he's distancing himself from the relationship as much as possible. I guess he's trying to make it clear he was a victim, not a willing participant. Whether that's the truth or not, I honestly don't care. My focus isn't on him, it's on how I'm finally free from all this drama. But of course, Melissa couldn't leave me out of it. A few days ago, she reached out again, and this time she didn't just want me to testify or vouch for her character. She wanted me to make a public statement saying her actions were out of character. She claimed it would help her mitigate the damages in court and repair her reputation. I couldn't believe the nerve. After everything she's done, throwing our marriage away, disrespecting me, and dragging me into this nightmare, she still thinks I owe her something? No, thank you. I didn't even bother engaging this time. I blocked her number immediately and made it clear to the mutual friends feeding me updates that I don't want to hear about her anymore. I've been patient enough, and I've listened to their gossip out of politeness, but I'm done. If they want to stay involved in her mess, that's on them. I'm not interested in being kept in the loop anymore. Blocking her felt like a weight off my shoulders. For so long, I let her actions and her chaos linger in my life even after our divorce, but now I'm truly free of it. No more updates, no more pleas for help, no more reminders of how much she hurt me. From what I've heard, even Melissa's family is pulling away from her. Her parents, who used to brag about her to anyone who would listen, are embarrassed by the scandal. They've stopped defending her and are keeping their distance. I don't blame them. He's burned so many bridges that it's hard to imagine who's still in her corner. As for me, I'm doing well. My life isn't perfect, but it's peaceful, and that's all I could ask for. I've started focusing on things that make me happy, hobbies I didn't have time for during my marriage, spending more time with friends, and just enjoying my independence. Looking back, I realize how much I let myself shrink during my marriage. I spent so much time trying to make Melissa happy, trying to be the perfect husband, that I forgot to take care of myself. But now I'm learning how to prioritize my own happiness, and it feels incredible. To everyone who encouraged me to stand my ground, thank you. Your support gave me the confidence to say no and to keep saying no, no matter how many times Melissa came crawling back. Thanks for reading and for being in my corner throughout all this. I'm finally moving on, and it feels amazing. Update 3. Hi, Reddit. I'm back with what I think will be my final update. It's been about 6 months since my last post, and honestly, life has finally settled into something that feels normal again. But before I move on for good, I wanted to let you all know how things ended up with Melissa. Spoiler alert, karma really did its thing. To catch you up, the last time I posted, Melissa had been fired. Shane had filed lawsuits, and she was facing criminal charges for fraud and harassment. Well, those charges didn't just disappear. The investigation uncovered everything: how she used company funds to buy Shane gifts, her inappropriate behavior at work, and how she misled HR during their initial inquiry. When all was said and done, the evidence was so overwhelming that there wasn't much for Melissa to argue in her defense. About 3 months ago, Melissa was officially convicted of fraud and harassment. The investigations wrapped up, and she was convicted of fraud and harassment. The court found undeniable evidence that she used company funds to shower Shane with gifts and covered up shady financial dealings to hide her tracks. On top of that, Shane's claims of harassment were supported by damning emails, text messages, and testimony from other employees. It turns out he wasn't the only one who had an issue with Melissa's behavior. The judge didn't go easy on her. She's serving time now, not a slap on the wrist sentence, either. Along with prison, she's been ordered to pay significant restitution to both the company and Shane. From what I've heard, her finances are completely wrecked. She had to sell her house, drain her savings, and is still drowning in debt. This is the same woman who once looked down on me for not being ambitious enough, and now she can't even afford basic living expenses. Meanwhile, Shane walked away with a hefty settlement from both the company and Melissa, and he's using the money to fund a blog where he writes about workplace misconduct and advocates for safer work environments. Honestly, I had to laugh a little when I found out. The irony of him becoming a voice for justice after he was so willing to participate in it in the first place isn't lost on me. I mean, let's not forget that he actively pursued a relationship with a married woman and didn't seem to have any issues with the shady perks while it lasted. I'm not saying his work isn't valid, but it's hard to ignore how he was part of the mess that tore my marriage apart. Still, good for him, I guess. At this point, I don't care enough to dwell on it. The important thing is that I'm free from all of it, and seeing how far Melissa has fallen since she walked out of our marriage is a reminder of how lucky I am to be out of that toxic mess. For years, I felt stuck, like I had to keep bending over backward to make her happy even when she clearly wasn't willing to do the same for me. But now I'm living for myself, and it's the most liberating feeling in the world. As for Melissa's family, they've completely cut ties with her. Her parents, who used to think the sun rose and set on their perfect daughter, are now refusing to speak to her. They've even reached out to me to apologize for how they treated me during our marriage since they were so proud of their golden daughter. They tended to put everyone else in her life down, including me. I cannot tell you how many family dinners were spent awkwardly smiling at insults thrown my way because I could never live up to Melissa. I'll admit it felt satisfying to hear them admit they were wrong, but I kept it civil. I thanked them for their apologies and politely told them that I no longer wanted any part in my old life. I'm not interested in rehashing old wounds. Even though so much of this was happening in the background, I have some good news. I've started dating someone new. I wasn't actively looking for a relationship, but I met someone through a friend, and things have been going really well. She's kind and supportive and treats me with a level of respect I honestly forgot I deserved. I'm taking things slow, but it's nice to feel appreciated again without all the drama and games. Looking back, it's almost funny how Melissa used to talk about wanting to feel young and free when she left me for Shane. Where did all that freedom get her? A ruined career, a tarnished reputation, and now a prison sentence. Meanwhile, I'm the one who's actually free from her selfishness, free from the constant emotional drain, and free to finally live my life the way I want. This whole experience has been a lesson in letting go and trusting that people who do wrong will eventually face the consequences of their actions. I didn't have to lift a finger to make that happen. She managed to unravel her own life one decision at a time, and I just made sure I wasn't standing anywhere near her when it all came crashing down. To everyone who supported me through this roller coaster, thank you. Your encouragement helped me stay firm in my boundaries and reminded me that I don't owe anything to someone who threw me away. I'm closing this chapter of my life for good now. Melissa's story might be far from over, but as far as I'm concerned, it's no longer my story to tell. My focus is on my future, and I'm excited to see where it takes me. This is the last update I plan to share. I'm closing this chapter of my life for good. Whatever happens to Melissa from here on out is her problem, not mine. She made her choices, and now she has to live with the consequences. Thank you for being in my corner. Signing off for the last time, your guy who won at life big time.